Well, Renee, it may have been 20 years in the making for QT, but for me, it all started when he threw the double chunk chocolate cookies.
Who the fuck is that guy? Who the fuck is that?
What is going on? Welcome to No Chill Promos. How y'all doing? Hope having a blessed Saturday, blessed weekend so far. You're watching this. Before I get into this review for AEW's Dynamite plus predictions, because Full Gear is later on today. Just want to do a quick shout out to all subscribers to the channel and to the followers on Rumble. Now at 306, so thank you to the 3 people who subbed. I truly appreciate it. But without further ado, let's get into it, because first, some controversy with this show, saying that this is one of the most gutter trash go-home shows of all time. So I'll break it down for you and let you guys decide for yourselves. Right, so let's get into it. Try to make this shit short and sweet. Right? They start off with a video package, I guess hyping up Full Gear. Then they had Guns N' Roses' November Rain, as that's the song they chose. And nothing lasts forever, and we both know ours can change. You know that song? why they chose that song? I don't fucking know, man. I don't know. But first match we get is Justice League versus Legion of Doom. All right. I'm just looking, I'm like, why the fuck is Powerhouse Hobbs? What are you doing, man? Already off to a bad start, man. Like this, I don't give 2 fucks about this match. So we're just gonna fast forward to the finish, which is the Alpha. Konosuke Takeshita hitting the, I guess he calls it the Power Drive Knee. That's the name of his finisher. To My Name is Earl, aka Mark Davis, knocks his ass out for the 1, 2, 3. So Don Callis' family goes over, meaning that most likely whoever's wrestling in Full Gear is losing. Right? That's what the fuck that means. Right? So we move on. Next, we get a promo from the Rough Riders. Now, why they're back of a FedEx truck? Why is Will Yuta not wearing a shirt? Why is Marina Shafir rocking the Leon Kennedy jacket from Resident Evil 4? I don't know. There's a lot of questions, not enough answers, right? But Moxley, he says that his mission statement is still the same, and that Orange Cassidy, he may be this so-called tough guy, all right? He may come to Full Gear with your mind intact, but none of it matters. So I'm gonna kick your ass, and it's for the greater good. Audio, he says something I believe is in Swedish, right? I could be wrong, I don't know, but let me know what language that was. I swear if I had bet it was Swedish, because he is from Sweden, but I could be wrong, I don't fucking know. But he says, Darby, tonight I will end you. And then Marina Shafir just stands there looking menacing, and that's all that happened here. So we move on. And next we see, speak of the devil, Major Darby. He pulls up, he says that, all you Rough Riders have your day. And guess what, Claudio? You're up. That's it, so we move on. Then we see the Hurt Syndicate showing up, looking like professionals. Now, thank God, at least someone tries to take themselves seriously around here. Right? MVP says that his huge announcement for tonight is that Bobby Lashley, the Almighty, will be wrestling here tonight for his first time here in AEW. Now, the only problem with this announcement is that it was already announced from Excalibur on commentary, who said that Bobby Lashley is wrestling here tonight in a 2v1. So, was there like a miscommunication? I mean, what's going on, man? What are we doing here? Talk about amateur hour. And I forgot to mention this during the Rough Riders segment with Moxley. Apparently, I've seen this shit with CM Punk burying AEW, and it's Punk. Punk doing what Punk does, Phil Brooks. Right? My Moxley, he was like trying to take accountability for the fuck ups here in AEW. I mean, I can respect that. Really, the problem is he's not the one that needs to take accountability for shit to change here. That comes from the head honcho, the El Jefe, or the boss, that the motherfucker that pays everybody's bills, and that's Con Man. He needs to be the one to take accountability for his fuck ups and liabilities. The fact that they had to hide the fact that half of the building is non-existent. All right, and until that happens, nothing's going to change. All right, because you're talking about like there's a different iteration between the AEW right now and AEW like a few years ago. I mean, what's the difference? Like, what? You got jobbers back then, you got jobbers now, and even the jobbers that were jobbers back then are still jobbing out now. So what the fuck's the difference in this company within 5 years? I like to know. I'm just saying. I digress. I don't know. This company's all fucked up, man. It is. You gotta tighten up. All right, get your shit together, man. Hot damn. But getting back to the segment, we see whose house? Swerve Strickland. He shows up. He basically shoves Lashley down and then runs away. All right, that's all that happened here. So we move on. Next, we get who's ready for story time with Adam Cole, baby? Not me. So I don't give a fuck what this man's saying. It's the same shit he's been saying about Max with every fiber of my being. I hate you, you son of a bitch. And I'm gonna kick your ass and give you the ass beating of a lifetime at Full Gear. The same shit he's been fucking saying. Right? Then we see Kyle O'Reilly comes out and he says, man, we had a lot of memories together, bro. Like right here at Reading, Pennsylvania, we had our first match against each other, man. I'm just here to tell you that MGF is way more of an evil, smug son of a bitch than you will ever be. And that's okay. And that's all that happened here. Like, this is a prime example of a promo that should have been a backstage segment. I'm just saying, but we move on. Next, we see Mr. Freshly Squeezed, Orange Cassidy backstage. Right, he's talking this shit to Moxley. We see that conglomeration just show up. And Mark was like, hey, dog, we got your back at Full Gear if you need it. Orange Cassidy was like, please. And then he was like, he just yelled it. And they're like, whoa, damn, man. He's like, look, it's like, if I need your help, I will let you know. But I just need you all to listen to me. Stay away at Full Gear. And then Mark was like, all right, man, you got it. All right. And then Orange Cassidy was like, see, you hear that, John? All right. It's all me. 5 against 1. Right? But you need all the help that you can get. And I'm like, bro, if you're already, it's already, like you said, 5 against 1. They don't need any more help. All right? And not to mention, Moxley already beat your ass before clean. So, I mean, it's whatever. I digress. we move on. Next, we get a match between Chris Stacklander versus Hikaru Shida. I have no interest in this match because Hikaru Shida does nothing for me. People swear up and down that her work in Japan was god tier. I've yet to see it, so I don't know. But her in AEW, that's nothing for me. Especially when they have Riho there, who I believe is better. Right? And Stacklander, I like her, but I'm not feeling this feud with Mercedes Moné, especially what's about to happen later on in a few minutes. Right? So fast forward to the finish, which is Stacklander hitting her finisher, the Night Fever. I guess that's the name of it for the 1, 2, 3. All right. Now they shake each other's hands after the match. And then we see CEO, Miss Mercedes Moné, and I can't call it a brick house. I can't. That's sad. It's pitiful, man. What they're doing to Camille. It's terrible. It's fucking terrible. But Monet says the same shit that she always says, say hello to CEO, and she sends Camille to go handle Statlander and Shida with one arm. Alright, so both these ladies beat up on poor Camille, a one-armed Camille. Statlander throws her out the ring like a bag of trash, and then we see Shida just does an unnecessary stomp to Camille. I'm like, what? This is terrible, man. This is sad. Let me play sad music, because this is awful. It's like, what the fuck are they doing to Camille? Alright? And yes, you want to talk about an example of being buried? This is it right here. Alright? She didn't have a chance. That's the fucked up part. You know, they could have had something. Like, I was already apprehensive of her being like Moné's bodyguard. You know, really, what they should have did was, you know, they have Camille just come through, you know, after Mercedes won the fucking TBS belt and just spear the shit out of her. That's how you make an impact. But no. They went this route to where they made Camille look like this complete and utter goof. A jobber. And bona fide enhancement talent is what Camille is right now. And again, this is the longest reigning NWA Women's Champion ever. Reduced to this. Garbage. Garbage day. Absolute gutter trash. What the fuck this is.
Garbage day!
And you wanna know what happens after fucking Statlander hits the night fever to Moné to end the fucking segment? And is she going over in full gear? Nah. I don't see it. And another question is, when's the last time Mercedes Moné defended that New Japan Strong title? Like, I know I'm behind on my shit, you know, with like New Japan Stardom, Mario, and all that shit. But I'm like, I never see any coverage for that belt. So it's like, why the fuck does she have it then if she's not going to defend it? Next, we see Shelton Benjamin and MVP beating up this young, innocent man because he's wearing the same chinchilla coat that Swerve Strickland had on earlier. And this dude, my guy right here, looks like the combination of Lil Uzi Vert and Young Thug. That's what the fuck he looks like right here. MVP launches a devastating cane attack to this man's abdomen. We see Young Uzi is down. Young Uzi is down. MVP tells Shelton, hey, we gotta get ready because Bobby's match is next. Alright, so we've seen some unnecessary black on black violence. You hate to see it. But that's all that happened here, so we move on. Next, we see a little promo package hyping up the match between the Switchblade, Jay Caucasian versus Adam the Arsonist Page. Jay Caucasian says that there's still time left here in 2024 for the Switchblade to share the spotlight with Hangman. I've always been ahead of you. I always will be. In a full gear, will make you tap out. I will put an end to the Hangman once and for all. Adam Page says that, Jay White, do you know who the hell I am? They named this godforsaken pay-per-view after me, and there's not a chance in hell you can make me tap out, even if your slimy ass life depended on it. And that's it. So I enjoyed this little video package, and I'm looking forward to the match at Full Gear. Alright, that should be one of the highlights on the pay-per-view. Next, we move on to the almighty Bobby Lashley and his debut here on Dynamite against two jobbers. You got Joe Keys and Cheeseburger, who I haven't seen this dude in a hot minute. Alright, when you look up the definition of enhancement talent, you see this dude's name and picture right next to it. Alright, so we're gonna fast forward about like a minute, maybe like 30 seconds later, where we see Lashley takes out both these jobbers, taps him out, puts him to sleep. Lashley goes over as he should. Alright, fast forward, we see Prince Nana. He distracts Shelton Benjamin on that rampway area. See whose house? Swerve Strickland, he shows up behind MVP. MVP looking like a complete goof, where he attacks Lashley from behind. He's able to fight off both Lashley and MVP. He then hits a house call kick onto Lashley, followed by the diving double foot stomp. Alright, he then does like a handstand, like he's fucking Black Panther or like doing some parkour shit out the ring and into the audience. Alright, so they're already making Lashley look weak. They're making the Hurt Syndicate look silly, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Yeah. So all I know is that at Full Gear, Lashley needs to demolish Swerve Strickland, and I don't want to see no 50-50 bullshit. I want to see Lashley go in there, mollywop, steamroll Swerve Strickland. That's what the fuck I want to see. It's like, come on, man, don't fuck this up. But at the same time, this is the same dude that fumbled on Powerhouse Hobbs and Wardlow. Like, I still can't get past that shit. How the fuck do you fuck up on both those guys? Absolutely insane. Alright, but we move on. Next, we see the AEW Women's World Champion, the Glamour, Mariah May and Mina Shirakawa, who's here. She's done coming last week, and now she's here for good, or at least for a while. I don't know how long she's going to be here in AEW. They announced that at Full Gear, they're going to do the official championship celebration. And that meaning was like, do, 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 do. And Renee she was checking out all the goods on Mina. Right? And this was easily probably the best shit that happened all night. So we move on. Next, we get the match between Claudio Castagnoli versus Darby Allin. And basically what happens here was Claudio pretty much whoops Darby's ass for like pretty much like 10 to 15 minutes, and he actually wins. Yeah, I was not expecting Claudio to actually win here, but we fast forward to the finish. He wins off of the lariat for the 1, 2, 3. So Darby got his ass kicked, as he should have, because he has no business going over someone like Claudio. I'm just saying, like, Moxley's talking about taking accountability. But yeah, you're doing all this shit for you to drop the belt to this dude? Come on, man, that's garbage. Absolute garbage. I don't want to fucking see it. Alright? So, big ups to Claudio. We move on. Next, we see Private Party. They're backstage. They're talking about their fatal 4-way against Kings of the Black Throne, the Outrunners, and it was the Acclaimed, who everybody does not love. Alright? And then we see this dude and this kid. And I'm like, who are these people? Why are they on TV? Who the fuck is this? They said something about the Choco Coco Cookie or some shit. Like, what the wait? What is this? Like, who thought this was a good idea? That's what I want to know, man. Fire them. Like, fire whoever the fuck thought, hey, let's bring in this, I guess he's a talk ticker. He's famous on there, which I don't give a fuck, man. I'm not on TikTok. Why is he here? I don't care about Big Boom AJ. Alright, the only AJ I care about is Styles. Alright, and that this man is no AJ Styles. Not even fucking close. He's not even AJ Francis. Alright? So we move on. Alright, next we get a promo package from Mr. Maxwell Jacob Friedman. He tosses a quarter to some homeless Rob Zombie dude over there. He says basically that Roderick, your parents were both meth heads. They try to kill each other. Like, your mom shot your dad. Is that true? Wow. That must be so traumatizing for you. See, the only problem is your mom aimed at the wrong person. She should have shot you. That's basically what he said here, and people are like, oh, whoa, MJF's such an asshole. He was like, Roderick's mom should have unalived him. And I'm like, yeah, that's what he does, man. That's MJF, man. It's cheap heat. It's not like he just says the most like outlandish, off the wall shit to invoke a reaction, and it works. More times than not, it works for him. But we move on, and we guess who shows back up? We see Big Boom AJ and his kid. And this shit's awful. What the fuck is this, man? He says something about this match was like 20 years in the making, but not for me. And my last match was 20 years ago. I was like, bruv, I don't care if you're a jobber on Velocity or a Sunday Night Heat or an NWA TNA. I don't give a fuck, right? Why are you on my TV right now, man? What the fuck is this? And if QT loses to this dude, retire. Just fucking retire, man. You're done. All right? It's not like WrestleMania where Sami Zayn has to put over Johnny Knoxville, and he was able to overcome that. Like, you're wrestling a talk ticker. That no one, the only people who know this dude is on TikTok. All right, you lose to this dude, man. Just pack it up, man. Just call quits. You know, you had you tried. There you go, man. This is fucking terrible. You talk about everything that's wrong with AEW. This is it right here. Waste of time, waste of money, and waste of energy. Just absolute. It's terrible, man. It's fucking terrible. Next, we get a shit promo from Roderick Strong. He says, you know, oh, Max, you're talking about my parents and my childhood. Like, people have been talking about that shit my entire life, Max. It's nothing new, right? You must feel proud of yourself. You're such a bully. Like, were we back in high school again? And I'm like, this is one of the worst promos I've ever heard in my life. So we move on. All right. And next we see they show a video package of Matt Bernard and Danny Garcia. Basically, they fucking kidnapped Jungle Jobber. They take him to some undisclosed location, some abandoned building somewhere, and they're like torturing him. Like, they splash water on his face. And then Danny Garcia was voicing and all his frustrations to Jungle Jobber. And then Jungle Jobber was like, "You gonna let me go?" And they're like, "No." So they just leave his ass there. Now, Sean needs to call 911, send a search party to go save fucking Jungle Jobber. The segment was stupid, but I will say at least they're trying to do shit like outside the ring, you know, like off location, you know. I'll never shit on that because we need to see more of that. But this segment was not it, and I don't care. So you move on, right? And we go from one shit segment to an even shittier segment, all right, between the Nueve, Chris Jericho, and the Stone Pitbull, Tomohiro Ishii, as Jim Cornette likes to say. They're supposed to have a contract signing here in a locker room. Why? I don't fucking know, man. I don't know. This show's all over the place, all right? But Jericho was like, "No, this paperwork's looking a little funky. I'm gonna have my legal team look over it." All right. So Renee, you just sit tight and Chutamate Kurosai Ishii. I think that's what he said here. And he looked back at the camera. He was like, "You like that? That was Japanese for you." Just the look on his face, the way he said it was hilarious to me. But we see Jericho, he goes to check out himself on the wall there. And then we see Tomohiro Ishii proceed to stalk this man. So I shit you not, like, the cameraman literally films these dudes walking the entire fucking time. So they walk through the hallways, they walk up the steps, they walk past the concession stand, and they walk both their old happy asses to the ring. All right, I'm like, yo, at any point, Ishii, all you gotta do is just lunge at Jericho and you can whoop his ass. But they didn't do that because, both these guys ain't running nowhere. The only thing they're gonna run to is the refrigerator. All right, so they spent like 3 to 4 minutes recording these dudes walking from the locker room to the ring. All right, Jericho is like, "Hey, Ishii, look, I was signing a contract, but I don't have a pen." And guess what? It just so happens that Ishii has a pen. He gives it to Jericho. Jericho signs it. He tries to give the contract to Ishii. Then we see the Bad Apple and Big Bill, or what's he called? Redwood? Yeah, so they attack Ishii. Then we see the conglomeration. They're coming through to save Ishii. And I don't know what's worse, watching Ishii and Jericho walk for like 4 minutes, or watching Big Bill have to sell for Rocky Romero. So he tossed Big Bill out the ring. Mark hits the J Driller to the Bad Apple, Brian Keith. And then Ishii hits the Brain Buster to Jericho. And that's how the second... but then Ishii signs it. All right, and you can see that both their signatures on the contract. And that's how they end one of the worst segments I have ever seen in my entire life. 3 decades in, this is up there, at least top 5. One of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. Absolutely abysmal. All right, so we move on. Next, we see the best in the world. Haters gonna hate Jamie Hayter. And I forgot to mention this earlier, but Renee was looking good. She was looking good on this episode, especially right here. Jamie, whose face seems to be breaking out, I don't know what's going on with her, but she says that she doesn't know, I don't know what Julia's problem is. Never talked to her, never had a match, so I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. But if you got something to say, Julia, then she gets cut off. See another video package for Julia Hart. Alright? They basically, I don't know, it's Brody King. He was saying, like, it's time. Like, I don't think she'll be on Full Gear, but if she does, yeah, that's cool too. So I'm happy to see Julia Hart back. But we move on to the main event. And it's a match between Freshly Squeezed Orange Cassidy and Wheeler Yuta. And I shit you not, that's what they decided to go with for the go home show before Full Gear. I don't give a fuck about this match. So we're going fast forward to the finish, which is basically Orange Cassidy rolling up Yuta for the 1, 2, 3. And I'll say this about Cassidy. He is creative when it comes to these different type of pin finishes that he does. I like that. I do. But OC goes over as he should, because it's like, if he can't beat Yuta, then he has no business challenging Jon Moxley for the title. Alright, but you see Rough Riders, they come out, they duct tape fucking Cassidy's hands into his pockets, they beat shit out of him. You see Cassidy tries to rile back up for just an all-out assault against Moxley with those super effective kicks that he does, and the crowd's like, oh. Then Moxley knocks his bitch ass down. Alright, they leave the ring. Collaboration comes, they untie his hands, and then we see OC, he defiantly puts his hands back in his pockets, showing that AEW fighting spirit. It ain't dead. And that's how we end one of the worst go-home shows I have ever fucking seen. So everybody that was saying that this go-home show was absolute garbage, they are 110% correct. This shit was horrendous, abysmal, dank horseshit. But before I head out, I'm gonna do my predictions real quick for Full Gear. Hopefully Full Gear is way better than this fucking colossal failure of a go-home show. Alright? So, I'm gonna go with MJF, Adam Page, Will Ospreay, The Alpha, Konosuke Takeshita, Jungle Jobber, Mercedes Moné, the almighty Bobby Lashley, and Jon Moxley. Oh, and Private Party for them to retain, because I don't want them losing those belts anytime soon. Otherwise, what the fuck was the point in putting the belts on them? Alright, so yeah, what's my predictions for Full Gear? Alright, let me know your thoughts on that shitty go-home show, or leave your predictions for Full Gear in the comment section. Love it, hate it, comment, subscribe to the channel, it's all the same to me. I just want to see the engagement and the feedback from you guys. Next video will be the TNA review. I'll do that on Sunday, and I'll probably knock out the Full Gear review on Monday. Alright, you know, at some point I gotta try to catch up on my Japanese wrestling. It's just it's a matter of not having time, and then when I do have time, I don't feel like watching any more wrestling. So I gotta figure it out at some point. Alright, because I know I do feel bad for the Japanese fans that were subs, to this channel. So I'll try to put out some more content for you guys, man. Just bear with me, right? But with that said, wasting enough for you guys' time. So be safe, be blessed, take care of yourself, protect you and yours, your loved ones. Most importantly, trust in God. I'm out of here. Till next time, adios.